active. Good morning, Sacred Spiritual Healer here with your morning reading. We're here with the dogs. They are at my feet everywhere waiting for their morning walk. We got a little bit, well, it's almost noon, so I guess we're really behind. We enjoyed some of the other things of the morning. Meditated already on everything, and everything is well. This is a very calm morning, the eve before the portal of 11/11. This will be an amazing transcension for many. A lot of positive energy going on right now. Of course, we also have Mercury retrograde. This is my new deck. I'm just going to show you the outside. It's called the Shaman Tarot. Shaman, sorry. The book is Shaman Tarot, written by, it's Mr. Philadoro and translated by the studio. Let's see, Pietro Aligo, and marketing. Okay, how about the artwork? Sabrina Arjanello. Man, I'm killing those names, but here they are. I think they're like French or something. Okay, and that's the book. Tiny printing, so bear with me. Just going to do the overall energy. 2 cards, one for the divine and feminine, one for the masculine. I'll read the meaning from the book since I haven't really, if I get anything from channeling, but they haven't really been blessed with the full moon yet. Do that on Monday. We have, of course, had them with the stones and the crystals and reading with my own energy, but let's see what Spirit wants us to pass on from them today. Spirit, 1 card for the divine feminine, 1 card for the divine masculine, please, just for an overall energy. Waking the cards up to get them to read into one another's energy. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, so the first feminines, we got number 3 of the rocks or crystals, and number 7 of the bones. All right, for the masculines. So I'm going to hold them up. Feminines, masculines. All right. Community. Being with like-minded people, meditating with those of like and to your higher self, possibly with being a mentor or being in touch with a mentor and your spirit guides for the feminines. Masculines is strength to me, like the David and Goliath energy. You feel like your masculines feel like they're up against a giant energy that's just out of their control, but they are also having confidence in their ability to take down this giant regarding their journey. So number 3 of the stones. Okay, found it. So, concentration of power, diversity, sometimes extreme, that if well organized leads to the conclusion of the project, profitable collaboration with others, intelligent cooperation. That's for the feminines, and the masculines is 7 bones. Okay, spiritual struggle, questioning of the nature of one's own fears, psychological projections onto others, and difficulties that are more imaginary than real. Which David and Goliath, yeah, because Goliath probably wasn't as big as he thought he was, right? So that's it for those. As you can see, show you on here, but the printing is just so tiny. So it takes a little bit to get through the reading of those. I'll set those over there. Get our tried and true decks that I love. And spill all over the floor. Give me 1 second. Alright. Something they will recognize. One for each masculine. Well, first the feminine and then the masculine, please, Spirit. Yes. Okay, I'm going to do it a little different. 1, 2, 3. On the bottom is the camel, having everything within you to make your journey. Okay, and I'm just going to split it. On the bottom we have the unicorn. For the feminines we have magic, the unicorn, right? Believing in yourself, in your tools that are within you to manifest what you desire. For the masculines we have the lion, the strength. You have the strength to be David and battle that Goliath in your life, even though fear is an illusion. Later this afternoon I'll do the reading and introduction of that other deck I used this morning first on the energy, the Shaman Tarot. I'll read the meanings of each of those cards, or begin doing different series on probably one video for the bones, one video for the stones, one for the bows, and one for the drums, I think. So there's still 4 elements. They are just different than our usual, which is a very nice change intellectually to challenge oneself, I think. In our growth, right? It's always good to challenge yourself to have that growth in your journey. Alright, Spirit. So we have death for a renewal, transformation, and hangman, going within, contemplating before the death, before that transformation, what things still need to be healed, what things still need to have growth, what are our illusionary fears. Divine. I'm going to give the 3, body, mind, and heart, Spirit. Body, mind, and heart for the collective. Overall energy for the body. And what's the body, physical 3D, going to do today? What's their overall, thank you. What's the overall energy of their bodies going to do today? Thank you. 2 more. That's a lot. Okay. Spirit wants to talk now. We must have woke them up. Along with the dogs, they're just flying out, aren't they? Alright, let's see what we got. Moving these down here for a minute. This was last. I feel like it went forward. I'm going to flip these over because I take first up you, Spirit. Thank you. Okay. Let's see what Spirit wants to do. Usually we do these readings different, but we work with whatever Spirit tells us that day. Otherwise, he throws me a tower and I got to do everything all over, right? So, communication from Spirit says we're going to do it differently. Why? Because he knows I'm the High Priestess and I can understand what he's explaining and how we move forward. Alright, so first up, for your physical body, your 3D avatars on the top. Second one's what's in your mind space, what are you and your partner thinking about. So as I read these energies, if you're not thinking this way, your partner is. And this is going to be in the heart space of you and your counterpart. If it's not in your heart, then it is in your partner's. And then I'll clarify, of course, for these. Okay, guys, you're jiggling. Okay. So first up we have, dig out my wand here, the moon card, the 18, right? So, full moon is tomorrow, around 8 o'clock Monday morning. No, Tuesday morning, my bad. So you're both in the moon's energy, a little bit in the shadow, emotional side of things right now, that hermit mode, the going into the hangman or the hermit mode still of doing work within the shadow, being in your emotional self, possibly questioning yourself. Am I right for him? You know, he's small, you know, look at, you're comparing differences of one another to say, well, they're not like me, they're, you know, they're a smaller version, or they're too big, or they're, you know, perhaps they're not the right color or the right religion, but you're comparing differences between the two of you in this moon energy. Also, because it's Mercury retrograde, it's bringing up those old thought patterns, right, and questioning you. And this is, Spirit wants you to know that this is a time of testing your belief in yourself and in your spirit and your unconditional love, ability to love unconditionally. Thank you, Spirit. The crabby side of you is going to move down this path, and it will either go right on by or it's going to stay around. You're going to be crabby about, it's a crab. You're going to have that crabby energy of sniffing on, nitpicking, thank you, of every little thing that's different about the other person. In a relationship, that's not unconditional love. The relationship isn't going to come together as it should, and you'll have more towers, more lessons to learn perhaps. But the towers are here, and they are upright. They haven't fallen regarding this connection, but Spirit saying as long as things are shared equally, and share your emotions with one another and your truth, your shadow side of yourselves, and be yourselves in the shadow time so that you can move forward. It's a number 9, breaks down to a number 9. King of Wands, you both are feeling that king or queen energy, take the gender as it reads for you, but you're listening to your twin flame, your counterpart, and perhaps you even still have a side piece over there whispering in the other ear, but you're also in your power. You're sitting there firmly in your belief to this connection. You understand this person makes you feel youthful and childlike innocence. You feel like you can, you know, dig through the dirt on each other and share that with one another and still be of equal balance, give and take, and you want to grow old with this person. Or perhaps you're already in the senior years and they make you feel like a child again. Okay? Ace of Swords, this is the passion, the fiery truth, right? It may burn a little bit, but they're coming forward with that truth, like the wolf for sheep almost. They realize they need to be in the truth, and it's coming passionately and fiery, and it may hurt, but they're coming to bring that truth to you as directed with the dirt on and in the moon. There were other options, or they have options around them, and if they choose correctly, then they'll be focused on the divine cup that Spirit has given to them. They are receiving the enlightenment through their third eye and higher self, that if they want this barren tree to produce fruit, then they need to choose correctly. If they choose wrongly, and then it's going to be another karmic cycle for them at this time. 1111 is a portal. Everyone is really a lot of hype on the 1111 portal for tomorrow, and really it's a transition of energy. Energy is a time, a new cycle is going to begin for each of us, and if they choose incorrectly, they don't choose the cup that was divinely given, then that person will be given another partner to move forward with, and they'll be stuck in that cycle with their karmic once again for another cycle. But to come out, and they want to come forward in their king of energy, they are dipping their toes, or remaining, they are keeping, thank you, their toes remain in the water of emotion, thank you, calm waters though. They are looking forward to the calm waters. They enjoy just staying in touch with you at this time. They know the connection is playful and youthful, and that they understand the connection is divinely guided. They are in that belief. They're holding firm. He's got quite a firm grip on the wand of truth here, and he also has a good grip on his cup of emotion, that he's fulfilled his own self. He's in his heart chakras open, and he's got the green robe. His throat chakras open so he can speak, and he looks quite happy, and the light is shining on him well, so he's speaking his truth at this time. So these are the things that are coming forth physically. Okay, and in their mind space, or your mind space, is that the divine feminine, the chaser, the first awoken, is the high priestess at this time. She has been doing the studies of the science behind this journey, the quantum physics of it. She understands that she has to nurture and go within and heal the inner child, not only of herself, but of her twin flame, of her counterpart. And I always call it the twin soul rather than twin flame, because we are one soul split into two bodies. And she understands that without darkness we have no light, and it's an equal balance of those, the yin and the yang, right? And that the masculine is the yang to her yin. And for some feminines, they are more masculine, but we each have divine feminine and divine masculine inside us. And the key is to balance that out in a way that when you come into union with the twin soul, that you are able to still energetically, polarity-wise, connect. Someone's mowing the lawn, of course, on Sunday. In South Carolina, we mow it all year long. Sorry to those in Ohio or New York, you're shoveling snow today probably. Again, in the mind space, nurturing himself, the divine masculine knows to be nurturing himself, that he understands that the divine masculine, or feminine, the high priestess, has had to pull away and heal herself and go within for her her ascension and her growth, her inner growth at this time was to pull away energetically from him and let him start nurturing himself, go within and heal his own inner child, believe in the science behind the journey, do his research on that, hold it close to his heart while he nurtures himself with his own cup of love, because he now knows that he needs to love himself and nurture himself before he can love another person unconditionally, or before he could ask another to love him. Just as we ourselves, as high priestess, know we need to fill our own cup of love, do our own self-love, because if we can't love ourselves, how would we love another? Our cup needs to be full and overflowing for self before we can have a spare to offer. They understand the signs over here that their inner child is playful like the two dolphins, playing with their counterpart's inner child as well. He's ignoring the karmic energy and the other counterparts nearby, the karmics, whether they be side pieces or wives, whatever the case may be. He's ignoring them, nurturing self. Again, and this is his mind space. He's thinking about this, that he should be doing this, he should be doing that, etc. These are the things that came, that are happening today, tomorrow, in the physical. These are the mind space, all right? And he's thinking he wants to offer that cup of love to his divine feminine. He knows that his cup here is full and he's nurtured himself, and that he now is thinking in his mind he needs to fill that cup up and offer it to his divine feminine. So he's coming in. He must love to fish because he's riding on a trout here, the Knight of Cups. So he's coming up out of his emotions. In his mind, he knows he's been emotional and he needs to come up out of that, get a grip, hold his hand up high with the cup of love and charge forward to the divine feminine. The mask in this is down, so perhaps he's still not in his truth, but here in the physical, it shows that he's going to come forward in truth. So again, this is the mind space. He might be still thinking that he doesn't want to tell everything, but here it shows Spirit saying he is going to come like the wolf, fiery sharp sword, and give that truth. In the mind space, he also is thinking about coming forward to you, not only with the love, but in the faith of the science, to discuss these dreams he's had, these visions and thoughts that he's had. The energetically connection, is this telepathy thing real? He wants to discuss these things like acorns with you. These bits of truth like the acorn. And he's coming in on a squirrel, so you know that's slow movement. But he is dressed in green. He's coming with his heart chakra open and in the belief of the science, perhaps trying to defend that science. Again, sword of truth, coming ready to wield this sword of truth, any person that stands up against him in his mind, because this is thought. Just keeping you focused here. These longer readings take more. All right, so this is in his heart space, what he's feeling, his emotional thoughts, okay? He knows he's been emotional in his mindset. He understands that he's connecting, okay, maybe, you know, being like an Aquarius is always intellectual, always overthinking and analyzing every emotion that comes across, pushing their emotions aside. So, but here, this is what's in those emotions, what's in that heart space that they can't push aside. All right, so the masculine here is defending that flame connection now because he knows it's from the divine. He's got the two swords. He's made his decision. He's cutting out anything that doesn't serve him. He's going to protect that flame against all others that stand up against him, regardless to how big the mountain is that he has to climb. He knows that he might be out in the cold with this belief, but he's going to defend it because he's passionate about it. Look at the face of it. His face is very determined, very attractive. His little ponytail. Alright, so the next up is the Two of Swords, the Divine Feminine as well. She's got the yin and yang equality here on her shirt as well, understanding and holding that belief close to her heart. She's got her belt of accolades on her self, standing her ground, putting her foot down on the rock of foundation, and holding those two swords behind her, keeping negative energy, perhaps a karmic in her life, away from those two flames. She's not allowing anything to put out those flames, not that you could, but to affect those flames, to take those away from her, because that is her birthright with the, hold on, yes, descendant. Before descending here from earth in reincarnation form, it's a contract that was made, it was a contract that was forged for a sole purpose, for a mission, to be in union with this counterpart, to succeed at their mission together. Thank you, Spirit. Regardless of the cold, regardless of the mountains they've had to climb, the things they've had to heal, they have both had to come to a death of them old self, old egos had to be put to death before they could come up in victory together. their soulmates are there, or their twin soul, hang on, spirit guides are with them. So in this situation, it's explaining the death of the ego, but knowing that the spirit guides were there, checking to make sure, just keeping you alive, giving you those nudges. You know, if they had to breathe at your foot, the heels, breathe on your heels, or keep nudging you to make sure you keep going. But this is about the death of the ego, the death of the old self. And we hear here the devil putting an end to those devil energies, cutting the chains to not only their devil energy of sex addiction, porn, the third parties, the side pieces on top of the third parties, the you know, the drug addiction, the alcoholism, or just indulging in too much partying and thinking that they can just be frivolous with their time and not focused. A lot of snake energy here as well, snapping and biting, perhaps a lot of gossiping, of lies being told, but the snakes represent sexual energy as well in the thought patterns. The feminine here is only tied by flowers that are tied up, blossoming and blooming, things that bloom. So she is also having to untie those knots and cut those chains from him. And this isn't only about themselves, but also generational chains to the devil energy, things that were handed down generation after generation. We say this again and again in readings. You have to go in and do the inner child healing, the generational healing. If you came from, you know, your heritage was from a country that had a lot of grief and holding their family members down in success. So Ireland and different countries like that, you know, they're at battle a lot. So perhaps if they are from that ancestry, or Germany type thing, where they indulged in a lot of alcohol. You know, the Germans love their Guinness. So I don't know. I don't know what the Irish love. But the family after family back in those generations after generations, whether it's abuse or fighting with family feuds or the alcohol issue. For some reason I'm getting a lot of alcohol in this reading, just that's why it keeps coming up for someone. But also a lot of abuse with this being very highlighted right now, is of things that were changed to generation after generation. So they have to go in and cut those chains to that generational curse. I'm hearing. Alright, so also in your past life regression, it's important to go back and do some past life regression healing of things that you've done in past lives before you're reincarnated here. Alright, so in the heart space as well, they know in their heart that these things are a problem. So in their heart space, they're trying to cut these and put an end to this. In their heart space, they know that they want to nurture the love of their life, their divine counterpart. In their heart, they want that calmer waters, the growth, greener pastures, I'm hearing. And they want to take, in their heart, they really want to take that leap forward. They want to just take up their gatherings and move forward. They want to take the leap into mid-air and know that their divine counterpart is going to catch them. Now on this stick, and I've never noticed this before, there's also a snake on here. So maybe they think that they can still take that leap forward in their and take their snake energy with them. So for some of these that have in this situation, they think they've got this under wrap, a handle on their energy of the snake energy, their devil energy, snake energy. So he's trying to hide this on his wand and move forward with it. Again, I don't never see the snake on this wand. But he wants to take a leap forward with the sun shining brightly, and maybe the snake will fall off. I don't know what to tell you. If you can see that snake on there, I'm going to hold this real close. I want me to see. See it? I swear it's never been there before. I'm going to watch some other videos and see if I see that snake on that card. Alright, so that's what we have for you. We're going to clarify these cards. If you've ever noticed the snake on there, please comment in below. You see something new in these cards all the time. It's whatever Spirit points out to us. And sometimes the light might hit it just right and you see something totally different. Alright, Spirit, what's with the moon card here? Let's clarify the moon card number 18 broke to a 9 regarding the two that are being a little bit nitpicky about one another in this moon energy. It's the Queen of Swords. She's cutting those things out. Queen of Swords wants to be sharp on her tongue. Perhaps again, Mercury retrograde, the moon energy, it could be causing people to be a little nitpicky and emotional regarding those situations. Alright, with this knight or King of Wands, maybe he's a knight too, wants to move forward, move Seven of Wands, standing up for herself, setting boundaries for herself, what she will or will not allow past her, what she will or will not allow in her life. And he wants to move that chariot forward. He's bringing the chariot. It may be a car, it may be horses, but he's going to come because this is the body. Remember the 3D. He's coming for you within, you know, could be past communication as well regarding moving forward. Alright, let's clarify these 6 of Cups, please, Spirit. Clarify 6 of Cups for the Divine Collective. Okay. The Emperor, yes, the 6 of Cups, because he is the Emperor. He's a boss, and he's in his power. He's very knowledgeable, perhaps a teacher. Teaching her of things that he knows about the science of the journey. On that shovel, the science of the journey is there. And who's he teaching? The Queen of Cups, probably the Empress, because she's all queens in one. But today, on this card, he's trying to be in touch with the Queen of Cups, the one that he knows has emotion for him, and that she has manifested this connection, and that he is manifesting this connection together. And again, that always reminds me, she, in this deck, she looks like she's teaching something, like she's holding something up that she believes, and she's explaining to someone. So perhaps the two of you teaching, coming up in that reading, perhaps that's something that the two of you need as a soul purpose, or your mission could be teaching others about the journey, about how your journey was for you, or your beliefs, etc. The Empress is here, of course, because we said the Empress is all 4 queens in one. Alright, let's clarify the Ace of Swords, please, for the collective, Spirit. Yeah, the decision was made. 2 swords. She's in here. She's not blindfolded, and she's not crossing those 2 swords. She's got her 1 sword and a spare, basically. And following the light, the divine guidance, she has chosen the sword from the divine. So perhaps she had choices, but she made the choice. Her hand is on the one that is lit by the divine, and he's coming forward in truth, and she's in her truth. So they're having communications regarding their truth, their hidden shadow energies, right? But Ace of Wands, because she, when she was put against with her wand, she was put against a hard place in a rock, and knew that in order to get that rod or wand up out of the rock to be the guide that she needs, to be the staff to lean on, she needed to have these communications. 4 of Cups, please, Spirit. Clarify 4 of Cups. Yeah, 4 of Cups, decisions, but it was a battle. And again, here it looks like the one woman in the white is, and I'll hold it up in a second, but not only is the wands out and they're battling something, but someone is putting an end to the fighting. She's holding up her wand and her other hand, teaching them or explaining to them the way it's going to be, setting down the law, setting down her boundaries. Regarding those choices that he has to make. And maybe that's why he's looking at that divine cup and thinking, oh, that divine cup has so many boundaries, and these other ones, they were easy. I didn't have to worry about, you know, doing the right thing, choosing the right person. But out of the Five of Wands is Six of Cups. Six is equal give and takes, things blossoming and blooming with beauty, having what you need and enough to share. Clarify the King of Cups, please. Clarify the King of Cups. Judgment is here. And put an end to the Ten of Swords. I'll put it with this communication that came in, the truth, right? The sword and the fighting. We had the Sword of Truth. I'm going to back this up a hair. Had the Sword of Truth coming in, fiery, fighting some energy, and he had to make that choice, right? Maybe he was taking too long regarding all those beautiful choices he had, and she set her boundaries up, and so Judgment card came in, put an end to that backstabbing of him not choosing correctly and comparing, and Judgment comes in to make that decision for him. And if not, again, he'll have to reap another cycle with the karmic. So he's going to take the Hermit stance as the King of Cups, and he's gone in Hermit mode to think, and has the guiding light, has the book of knowledge with him, so that he can make an educated decision. So that he can be prosperous in the decision he makes, the growth with the Page of Swords in her truth, just awaiting his decision, or perhaps prepared to turn her back and move on regarding his decision. And either way, they both want that Ten of Cups, the happy ever ending, the working together, being prosperous together. And that again is in the physical. Now we're looking at the clarifying the mental or the thought process of the connection. Let me tuck these under so you can see the full cards. Clarify the High Priestess. Of course, we know that I don't need to clarify the High Priestess. We know her power. She sees the truth behind the lies. The veil has been removed. She sees the things that are in the future, the things of the past, the things of the present, and she knows how to move wisely throughout them. Regarding that three-party situation, she knew of it before he spoke of it, but she knew that he needed to be in his truth. He needed to come forward with that knowledge and turn his back on it, so that when he could offer that Page of Pentacles, that gift to the right person, her, the Divine High Priestess. Seven of Cups regarding those choices. Clarify Page of Cups. Yeah, the Two of Wands making the choice. He's nurturing himself. He chose which cup he was going to nurture, or who he was going to nurture with that cup. Three of Wands. She also made the choice, and she was moving forward with her choice. Regarding the King of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles with the gift he's bringing in. See the clarify the Ace of Cups. Remember, the Wands is fast-moving communication. Yeah, the Page of Wands, fast-moving communication. She's here moving forward, which causes him that reflex of bringing that cup of love, leaving behind things that he has lost, realizing he's lost those other three cups that he had the choice to make up here. It's mirroring still, and leaving the two cups, his cup and hers, and having the strength to come forward with that cup of love as a Knight of Cups. Clarify Knight of Cups, please. Why is his mask down? It is underneath the Sword of Truth, though, remember. So this is his thought, this is his action. So he is coming in the truth, even though that's showing down. Because she's ready to move forward. She's taking her swords and moving forward. She's taking that leap of faith, and so is he with their little puppy there. Maybe they adopted a puppy, or maybe that's their spirit guide, but they're moving, taking the leap forward. Maybe not speaking so well, my throat just shut off. But they want that son together. Clarify the Knight of Pentacles, please. Clarify the Knight of Pentacles. Okay, Two of Cups, and right on there, beautiful. Yeah, went in. Before he could move forward as the Knight of Pentacles, he went in as Hangman to make that decision, to be enlightened, to gain different perspective, to see things from her point of view, or her from his point of view, so that they could move forward in Two of Cups, sharing that love. And it's also directly underneath the Two of Cups here, and his making the choice, just to confirm that it's all in a line. Page of Swords coming in as truth, defending this connection, putting an end to the the heartache. Thank you. Putting an end to the heartache regarding the Three of Swords. Yes, Knight of Swords with his truth. Anything else for this Ace of Swords? Thank you. Five of Pentacles, taking her out of the cold, because Eight of Cups, she's ready to walk away if he doesn't. So he's going to come in with his truth, and he's going to take her out of the cold. Stop ignoring her, and she's going to stop ignoring him. They can have that communication and move happily forward, hopefully. Right? And Four of Swords, so that they can both rest. They can take that break in their truth. One sword is upright, the rest are down, of course, but they're hung on the wall. She's resting comfortably, not needing to be defensive, because they're all the swords are on the wall. She's not covered up, her feet are bare, and her arms are crossed over her chest, in feeling loving energy while she takes a break. Because he has surrendered to her, so that the wheel can move forward. Okay, let's move. Anything else with this section, with this deck? On those. Anything else with those? Anything else good on those? Alright, for this row I'm going to get a different deck, because I'm running out. Let's use my favorite ones over there. Alright, see, I told you I moved everything around. I have cards on 3 different spots now instead of right at my side. But at least they're not in our way. Okay, Spirit. Clarify Five of Swords, defending the flame. The masculine is defending the flame against anything else against it, anyone else that tries to come towards the feminine, any karmic or negative energy. He's standing firm in his belief. Yeah, as the Knight of Cups, he's coming in he is in his emotion. Remember, this is his heart space. He feels like in his heart, he's passionate, wants to be the Emperor for his divine feminine. The wands here around him remind us of the 1111, and there is a goat at the top, horned goat, that's always a sensual energy. So he's passionately, sensually attracted to this divine counterpart of whatever gender. Clarify Two of Swords for the Two of Swords. Clarify Two of Swords, please. Clarify Two of Swords, the Sun. Because she wants the Sun, she's also defending it. Okay, anything else for the Two of Swords? Anything else for the Two of Swords? Okay, a lot. Like a lot. This one was first, this one was second. And then these. So, clarifying the Two of Swords, right? She's standing, putting her foot down, standing against the karmic in her life with her swords ready to cut things out. Believing in the science behind the journey of the two twin flames, making sure nothing happens to it, protecting that. She has the Sun card, believing in the quantum physics of this, because the galaxy and the Sun card reminds me of the quantum physics, the astrological energies, as well as the science behind the connection of the magnetic pole. But she also understands the emotion side of it, that she and he fill and nourish one another. Honest, I don't usually stutter. 10 of coins, because they want to be abundant together. She knows that she has the key to his heart and he has the key to hers, and that she wants to offer him a gift as well. It's reciprocating, and he knows she's the 9 of coins, that she's abundant in her finances, or her abundance, period, of many things. He knows that she's been focused on the connection that bird there is the divine counterpart in symbolize, and that she sees him as the Knight of Wands, someone passionate and strong, willing to fight for this connection, very warrior-like energy, like he's a warrior. You know, I can't think of what medieval times, whatever those helmets are, but I get the energy of a warrior here. 8 of coins, she knows that he's very passionate, but also very serious, intellectual person, and that he's studying and mapping things out. On someone's an artist and drawing things with the tools that they use for, you know, like architecture, and using this to also further his abundance, to build things. See the tools in there. And so that they can come together with this 4 of Wands, this stability, and celebrate together. And those wands in that also look like the 1111. So a lot of confirmation for those that are in the synchronicity or watch for the numbers, which most of us on this journey probably do. We know that spirit guides and our angels all speak to us through the synchronicities and symbols that around us, the numbers. You could be seeing 1111, you could be seeing 333, body, mind, and soul. You could be seeing 888 or 999. Nines are the completion before the end of a cycle. Thank you. But together, the 3, again, an older gentleman working very hard with his tools towards this, using the tools that he has towards this, what he knows, how he knows to build and work on this from his experience. Spirit says 10 of Swords is putting an end to the ego, putting an end to the bad habits and things that didn't serve them, but their spirit guides are there protecting them. Can we have a clarification on this? 10 of Swords in this manner. Yeah, the world's going to turn, a new cycle in divine timing. Anything else on that 10 of Swords, please? And 5 of Coins, wanting to come out of the cold, feeling like they lost everything, knowing they have to forfeit everything, giving up all their devil energy, because it was a death of their old way, their ego. So they're willing to come out as and be humbled, like the beggar in the street had to humble themselves in order to feed their family. Well, many of us in today's physical society think that the people on the street are all scam artists. There are many people that actually have to feed their family that way because they haven't been able to get the help that they needed or that they seek. King of Wands here is communication regarding that passion. Also, Lilith as King of Wands is also being strong and successful in that double energy. If you look here, he almost looks a little sadistic, or the dragons beside. Not that the dragons are evil, but it just gives you that hell-like environment. I don't know. It's just as a reader how I'm seeing it right now. Normally I would not have seen it that way. 2 of Cups. Let's moving on to the 2 of Cups. Clarify 2 of Cups. Something more passionate. Yeah. Whoa. Okay. Setting these down. We got this one. I know these fell first. And that one. And that one. All right, so two of cups is the 2. All right, the Page of Wands moving forward, perhaps because of everything he's had to do. He's just been battled and feels like he's lost everything in his world, including his ego, right? He's been so humbled that he is down to the level of a beggar on the street. He had to give up everything that kept him feeling strong, or kept him from not feeling. Not that people that do drugs or alcohol, they tend to do it because they don't want to feel their emotions or think a lot, so they drink to hide those emotions. So, and that might have made him less confident in his, not necessarily immature like the Page, but perhaps less confident, which would equate to immature, right? That's a long way to say immature. The Moon energy, he felt tied down to the karmic, but all that is behind him. Now they're into the calmer water. The moon lit, the moon has illuminated the true self, that they can feel naked with their counterpart, their divine counterpart, naked in their truth and comfortable in it. And of the 2 of Swords, because it's in reverse, that decision was made, well, the decision had to be made. This has already been made. This is, again, already in the past behind them. Regarding the Lovers, so the 3 of Cups, the divine, in this sense, it's the Lovers, and here they have the Kundalini awakening between them, the snakes coming up that pole like their spine towards the forbidden fruit. You see the apple here and the snake coming up towards it. It's like the Kundalini of the forbidden fruit. Between the 2 of them, it's arousing the Kundalini within him. But the masculine and the feminine cups coming together to pour into one cup, because that's the only cup he can see now. It's the only one he focuses on. Up here we had the 4 of Cups, and he was, while the one divine cup was in front of him, the other 3 cups were still present. Here he doesn't even notice that they're present. He's just so stargazed at her. He just is in awe of her glow, because she is the high priestess and she glows, and he sees her in her abundance, in her spiritual abundance, with the knowledge, and perhaps he's seeing owls and other divine birds around him, because as a messenger, because see the message regarding the situation, and that she's holding on to the 2 cups regardless to how much she had to also come out of the devil energy and perhaps be humbled as well. So she may have lost things as well, but she's still holding on tightly to those 2 cups, one for her and her divine counterpart. They are going to move together on this Fool, and I wish I knew about that snake on the left. I'm going to look that up. But 2 of Coins, moving forward, balancing things out with divine guidance, with through the emotions with breeze, because you see this joyster, right? Jokester? No, joyster. Can't say the word right now, but you know what I mean. The guy that dances around circuses. Why can't I think of the word? Needless to say, there's a rainbow. Alright, and this is upside down, an end to stabbing one another in the back, and end to other people stabbing them in the back, or them having heartache. That's what the leap forward is. And leaving behind snake energy. Even if they think they can bring it with them, it's going to fall off when he makes that leap. Yeah, as the chariot moves forward with divine timing. Remember, this is the passion, this is the heart. And Temperance is here to balance that out divinely. Look at how beautiful that is. Anything else? No. Yeah, and upside down, and an ending to the sneaky behavior. It's like Spirit wants us to hit every aspect on this reading. And put an end to this here. Yes, well, and we're putting an end to it, yes, with the death, because the new beginning tomorrow, the portal, right? Transformation. So we are putting an end to it. But the Three of Wands is here, looking forward to the magnificent ships that are coming into you of abundance together, because you both have manifested this. The Page of Cups is here, offering you that cup of love. When the two of you were sharing separate cups prior, now they're going to be poured into one, so that you can be abundance, because he is surrendering, putting an end to that stabbing in the back. And here's the King, up leveled, a new man in his emotions, offering love to the divine counterpart. I don't know what else to say. Let's get you some love cards. 4 minutes. I'm going to keep this on one video, I swear. Okay, answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? Yes, you're supposed to be in mission together, remember? And inner temple devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. Okay, and let's take... There's one kind of sticking up there, so I'm going to take that one. Sisterhood of the Rose. Beauty, devotion, priestess, and mystic teacher. And again with the teacher, see, I'm telling you, your soul path, whoever's watching, is to be a teacher of something that means something up to you, in connection to your journey. All right, I hope you have a blessed day. I know this was a long reading, so I hope that you got something out of it. Have a blessed day.